Right, here we are, Brisbane Airport, heading back to Cairns for 40 days marlin fishing. Can't wait. Well, g'day. Thanks for joining us for another episode. We're back in Cairns on board my client's boat, the Merlin. So the first things to do were stock the boat with drinks and food, and then we're off to the fuel dock. And I do apologise it's so long between episodes, but the good news is that's because I've been out doing lots of trips. So make sure you subscribe. Fueling up in Cairns. And plenty more episodes to come.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how nice was that? That was a estuary charter fishing boat that gave us a couple of fish for bait. So it was back to the berth, square away all the tackle, out for an early dinner in preparation for the next day. Well, good morning. It's our first day. So look, the plan at the moment is we've got 25 knots today, so we're going to take advantage of that and head up to Cooktown. We'll have the night there. We'll probably bait fish our way up, and then we're going to get up to Lizard Island by tomorrow night for the Halloween party. So anyway, we'll see how we go today. Yeah. Here you go, Blake. It's a very special moment.
Oh, my professional picture t-shirt.
Look at that.
Hey?
So those of you who haven't experienced the heavy tackle marlin fishing off Cairns, it's actually a bait fishery. Like, we use dead baits instead of lures up here, although we did use lures a fair bit as well. But you know, a part of your day each day is topping up your bait supply, like we're doing here. Basically, we're after scaly mackerels and mac tuna.
Well done.
That's a scaly. Here's a bit of an overview of where we're going. So we're running out up the Ribbon Reefs and then across towards Cooktown for the night. So that's a barracuda, good for nothing. So we release that. But yeah, the conditions were pretty windy, but we were down sea all the way to Cooktown pretty much, and used the cover of the reef when we were out there. So just a good run north, get some miles under our belt. And this is Cooktown. They've done up all that entrance there to the river, the Endeavour River, and that's the Fisherman's Wharf complex where we all the game boats tie up. You can see a couple of live trout boats tied up there as well.
Fueling up in Cooktown.
I love Cooktown, and the Fisherman's Wharf's run by Anne and her family, and they do a fantastic job servicing all the marlin boats through the season. Here comes a beautiful new Viking, skippered by Rod Finlay. Now we're going to raft alongside us. That's one of the fun things about Cooktown Fisherman's Wharf. All the game boats raft up together, so it's a great catch up. Anyway, it's off to dinner, early night, ready for the next day. So this is Andy Man.
How are you guys?
Worked on my old man's boat here on the Viking.
Yeah, still pushing.
Caught some big ones this season already. Oh, and it's 10 years today since you got the world record, 11. We don't normally do chats on the video, but he's worth it. Yeah, so that was a 1,111 pound marlin caught on 50 pound tackle by a lady named Stephanie from the States.
Yeah, mate.
Have a good one.
You too.
And Andy was the crewman wiring the fish, and he worked on our boat, family boat, for maybe, 7 years or more probably. Anyway, we were on our way out, as was Roddy. There's Anne, who runs the show. And coming out of the Endeavour River now. That's looking down towards Cape Bedford, north. Bit of wind, as you can see. Once you clear the headland there, you know all about it. Well, good morning. We're on our way out to number 7. We left Cooktown this morning and just having it slowed down to have a bit of a fish here. I saw some birds working. See if we can get a couple more tuna. Oh, it's a jobfish. Good eating. Yeah. Any crayfish?
I didn't see any. Nothing at all. Beautiful over there though.
Pretty, isn't it? Oh yeah. Good water.
You just go into these little gullies and
Yeah.
they just keep linking up.
Well, there's good water coming over the reef into that gully.
Yeah.
Lots of clams. So that's Blake rigging up the baits. You can see the amount of work that goes into them. Whipping the fillets off those jobfish for the table. Okay, we just had a nice swim and on number 7, and we're just going to go out the front here and start fishing. And we'll work our way north. Going to end up at Lizard Island tonight. Yeah, so those that don't know, we do all our swimming and anchoring at night behind the reef, but you literally just come out around the openings and we fish out the front of the reefs, and that's where the spawning Black Marlin that turn up every year, October, November, they sort of congregate along the edge of the reef, and that's us fishing along the edge there. This is a bit of a look of the Merlin and her flybridge setup. So I've got a station out on the back here where I can fight fish from and troll from, and then inside's the main helm. But yeah, it's a pretty good vantage point. Good setup. Yeah, so I'll show shots of the echo sounder screen. So that little red blob there, that's most likely a marlin. Fishing was very quiet, as it was for the rest of the fleet from what we're hearing. Anyway, tomorrow is another day. Yeah, so the Lizard Island Gamefish Classic's on, but this year it was being held out of Cooktown. This is Lizard Island, up ahead. We sort of lovingly refer to it as the Rock, mainly because you'll see it. There's more rock than vegetation. It's an absolutely beautiful island, probably one of the nicest places along the Queensland coast, I would say. I first came up here in 1981 as a 15-year-old. It's the first year Dad let me come do the heavy tackle marlin season. Anyway, the boys were keen to see lizard, so we made our way up here, and as you can see, it's a beautiful anchorage. So it's Watson's Bay where we're going to anchor. A few game boats fishing the tournament are already in. It's looking over at the resort. And if you look closely there, they're feeding a nurse shark or a tawny shark. They're a reasonably harmless shark. You can sort of swim with them. So they're just having a bit of fun, giving him a feed. All the boats coming in from their day's fishing.
That's Zulu, isn't it?
Righto. And then after dinner, we went into the resort. I mean, the Halloween party back in the early days was a very wild affair. We used to have seaplanes pulled up on the beach, and it was all a big party on the beach. But as you can see now, it's in what they call the Marlin Bar or the barn. And whilst there's a sprinkling of game fishing crew here, most of them are staff from the resort, and there's a scientific research station on the island, so I think there was probably a few of them there as well, but good fun. They're all having a good time, although I did feel a bit old. What a beautiful morning. I put the drone up. Oh, now that boat there, they've got a YouTube channel called Coffee Break, spelled COFFEY Break. Get onto it. They're currently doing a passage in that little boat from Tweed Heads right around the top of Australia to Broome. It's fantastic to watch. And I even ran into them off Moreton Island and had a chat with them when they'd just started off. Epic thing. Yeah, so that little creek there, by the way, in Watson's Bay has a resident crocodile, although I think they may have removed it by now. But yeah, beautiful snorkeling around there. Good coral. The place is just magic. This is a little aerial view of where the party was last night at the barn. We used to have the party on the beach there back in the day when it was all just the game fishing fleet. Anyway, everyone was starting to head out to start fishing in their next day of the tournament, and we weren't far behind them. But before we left, the boys were keen to have a quick look around the resort. It's a supply barge there, and that's the lodge, the main restaurant to the resort. And then we went ashore in Watson's Bay to have a look at Mary Watson's house, all the remains of. It's quite a sad story, really, if you Google it, Mary Watson and Lizard Island. Back to the boat, load the tender, and we're out of there. Okay, just doing some bait fishing, not far from Lizard, and then we're going to go out and have a swim at the cod hole and fish number 10 today, which there'll be heaps of boats there with the tournament. But in talking to everyone last night, that's where the action is, so see how we go. Yeah, so catching some more scaly mackerel. And then unfortunately we got this lovely big Spanish mackerel, but it was a closed season for mackerel, so no take. So we had to release this one. Great eating Spanish mackerel. Well done. Here he is. Yeah, so that's top dock our bait supply, well, big baits anyway. We also target a smaller bait called a scad, which you'll see in another video. Yeah, so this is the cod hole. That's a big professional dive charter boat that's turned up. Got these mooring buoys, so it's just east of Lizard, out on the top of number 10 Ribbon Reef. And I've been coming here, well, since 1981, I suppose. And back then there was a big school of maybe 20, 200-pound potato cod that lived there. Dad used to hand feed them. I'll never forget a moray eel going up his shirt to steal his bait he had hidden there once. It came out the neck of his t-shirt. Gave him a fright. The baits are out and we're just trolling our way south down the outside of number 10. We're down at an area called Second Corner. There's about 15 other boats here. Conditions are magnificent. And well, let's just wish us luck. That's Lizard Island in the background, and you can see the outer edge of the reef breaking there. That water's about, I don't know, well, you can see there how deep it is. It drops right away down to about 1 kilometre just offshore. And that area we're at right now is where Dad got his biggest marlin that he personally was the angler on. It weighed 1,254 pounds. Anyway, no joy for us. So lines in and made our way back behind the reef.
Come on. I've got a fish.
It's a beauty.
Put my foot next to him. That's a size 15 foot.
Yeah, the marine life attracted in the lights every evening is so fantastic. Such a pristine part of the world. What happened? Dropped him. Yeah, so while we were having breakfast, I spotted a few dolphins and thought I'd put the drone up. I couldn't quite believe how many there were. It was amazing. And all right in near the bommies like that. I've never encountered a dolphin while I'm snorkeling around the bommies, so it's very cool to see. Anyway, the boys were keen to have a poke around. I think they were trying to find crayfish. You also find nice coral trout up in the shallows like this, so I grabbed my gun and jumped in as well. After our swim, it was time to come out around the bottom of the reef. You can see here, so there's lizard number 10. We're coming out around the bottom of number 9 here. Fish our way down the outside of the ribbons and then come back into Cooktown. It was time for one of the guests to head home the next day. They call that bait freezer the morgue. Yep, so we're out on the outside of the reef now and putting out the big baits.
Chop off.
So what I'm referring to there, chop off, is unfortunately the barracuda like the look of our baits, and after all that work stitching them up that Blake goes through, they shred them in a matter of seconds like that. So that's most likely a marlin I've marked there down around 100 metres deep. It's another barracuda chop. You can see the tracks there where I'm trolling. More potential fish. That's Tim Richardson on the Tradition, one of the great captains of the reef. Yeah, so we've got a strike here. And there it is, a nice little fish to start the day. Blake, the crewman, there's leadering the fish. You've got to wrap the mono leader around your glove a particular way so you don't get caught up in it. And then you can see him cutting it free.
Hey! Finally!
Now with all this activity, Blake couldn't help himself. Free gaff to trevally. It's not wasted. We're going to use that for bottom fishing bait the next day. Yeah, so my daily routine includes a morning and afternoon check of the engines, and then we're off bait fishing after breakfast. There's another Spanish mackerel coming aboard, which we have to carefully release in good condition. That's what we're really after, scaly mackerel. Good marlin bait. That trevally we released, obviously. So that's how you rig a tuna, a hook off the head like that. Alright, we're just down at the bottom of number 7, getting the bait lines in. We're going to run down to number 5, have lunch, hopefully a swim, although with this 20 knotter it's a bit unpleasant out there today. And then we'll fish out the front of 5 and run into Cooktown tonight. Yeah, so number 5 Ribbon Reef is pretty well due east of Cooktown, as you can see here. Basically there's 10 Ribbon Reefs, from Lizard being number 10 right down to number 1, then you've got another sort of half a dozen reefs until you get down to east of Cairns. So you can see the weather is right up there again. But as I say, run south behind the reefs and then we get out in the front and we can run down sea. Makes it a bit more pleasant. Anyway, no joy for us on the marlin fishing front, so we're making the run into Cooktown now. It's about 30 nautical miles from the reef into Cooktown. Hour and a half at 20 knots. Great fishing off there. There's always a crowd of people there having a fish. I've seen Spanish mackerel caught there and all sorts of things. So yeah, give the boat a clean down after a few days at sea. Get all the salt off. Give all the tackle a bit of love.
I've cleaned Mother's boat more than mine.
Yeah, so that's Daniel Klein, skipper of the beautiful 58 Assegai deploy you see here. Probably one of the nicest game boats in Australia. There's quite a few Assegais. It's the other boat there's Zulu, she's an Assegai as well. Custom built Australian game fishing boats. That's Wombat, one of the great deckies that's been up there for a long, long time. In fact, he was the crew man on my sister's 850 pounder.
Okay, we'll be there.
Yeah, just a great scene, the wharf. All the boats come in. So exciting. For someone like me, just surrounded by beautiful boats and heavy tackle. Great guys. It's excellent. And we had dinner and off to bed. Out on a morning walk with Blocky. Yeah, so when you spend so much time at sea during this period, it's so good to stretch your legs. It was Blocky's last morning with us. He was on a flight home today. Look over Cooktown. That's the Endeavour River, you know, where Captain Cook pulled his ship ashore to repair her. Some of the trout fishermen.
Yeah.
There's Wombat and his ride heading out. And because we had Blocky flying out in the afternoon, we decided to have a day in port. Particularly because it was 20 to 25 knots. I think that swayed their idea as well. Yeah, so after a nice lunch, saying our goodbyes to Blocky, we made our way up to the supermarket, checked out some of Captain Cook's memorials along the way. And do you think we could get a taxi to take our groceries back to the boat? Look at Blake, what could possibly go wrong there, eh? And then off to dinner, we return the trolleys. So another windy old day, and as it turned out, we had to spend today in port for various reasons, so gave me an opportunity to go down and explore this little track I saw on yesterday's walk. Beautiful little bay called Cherry Tree Bay. Absolutely magic. Not that you can swim there, a lot of crocodiles. Beautiful spot to spend the morning. And making my way back along the river, looking at these guys working on their boat like Captain Cook did once. That's where he pulled the boat up, right there.
Have a good one.
That's Kleiny heading out, and that guy on the camera there, that's Steve from Rising Tide Films. If you go back to a few of my videos, you'll see an interview. He was the guy who interviewed me, talking about sort of my whole life at sea and up the reef, etc. And this is pretty funny what Blake wrote on this 80-pound outfit. 130, identifies as a 130. We were short a reel and we'd loaded the 80 with 130, but it doesn't work very well. You can't get the free spool you need. And this beautiful nautilus shell floated by. We scooped it up. Things you find, eh? And how's this guy catching a barra? It all happens on the Cooktown wharf. There's a mothership looking up their tender and heading back out to the reef. So they'd work with a game boat. And yeah, just to have that luxury out there when you get back in from a day's fishing, and you can have extra guests on board, and it's a great option. That's basically what my family did for 43 years. We had a mothership and a game fishing boat operation. Dad went 43 years in a row, did that. Anyway, Blake and I went up to the tackle store and topped up a few things and raced back to see everyone coming in and get reports of how it's fishing out there. We couldn't wait to get back out, obviously.
Are they coming to us?
There's the Calypso with Captain Tim Dean at the helm. One of the great captains also, been there forever. Yeah, and he's working with a mothership, as you can see, but they're in Cooktown for the evening. They might be changing over guests. Yeah, great scene, great fun. That was Laurie Wright there, that guy, another one of the, retired now, but one of the very early great captains. Dad's vintage. Alright, finally, day to get back out on the reef, so we topped up the water. Just chuck it here. Got underway. Okay, so after this bait fishing, we're going to head out to number 3, Ribbon Reef, and have a swim, and then we'll probably fish out the front, and we'll probably anchor back in behind there tonight. But there's a bit of an issue with a big pool of green water that's moved in right up the top at number 10 the last couple of days, and it's coming right down the ribbons. I've heard there's green water possibly out the front here at 3, so we'll make a decision when we see it. Anyway, weather's good, come back down to 15 to 20, so hopefully we'll get one. Bloody Spaniard. How's the face? Yeah, so here's a bit of a look on the chart, so run out to around number 3 here. Over the next day or two we are going to head down to Cairns, fishing our way down to Linden Bank there anyway. just come out. We're at the top of number 2, and the water's just terrible. So we're going to make the big decision and bring the baits in and run down south on the inside of the reef. Get down as far as we can and start fishing down there. It's just, you know, trolling our way down wouldn't be great because we've still got 20 knots here. So anyway, that's what you got to do. Put yourself in the best place. Okay, so we've just come down around the bottom of the Skate Reef. I've got the Argencourts over here, and I'm going to troll south, probably end up down around off Opal or the bank by late Arvo. Hot bite time. Yeah, made a big commitment to run all the way south, but that water just was no good back up there. But you know, plenty of guys say the water bothers us more than the fish. I think they're still catching them in amongst that green stuff, but anyway, it does bother me, and that's why we're down here. So hopefully we'll get one. It didn't take long to mark a fish and hook up. There. Does it look like a marlin? Yeah. I'll go back around. Yeah, so small fish, and it couldn't eat the big scaly and dropped it, but I did a circle and we've got another bite out of it. Didn't come tight, then it came back on the other bait. Could be coming at it, get ready. Right on it. Right, let him have it. Tight, good. All right, you good? Yeah, those small fish, they sometimes just can't eat those big baits. Eyes are bigger than their mouth. Anyway, the boys with their skill, we eventually got tight on it, hooked up. Good work. Yeah, just a nice small fish. Jump, you little bugger.
You got good?
You got enough shot? Yeah, so Blake will release him now. There he goes. Woo! Anyway, we didn't see anything else for the afternoon, and then it was back in behind Opal Reef for the evening. Now, I'm not sure if any of you are watching the Bad Company videos on YouTube, but it's an amazing show, guy fishing around the world. And anyway, Blake knows the guy's building his new 50-footer, so we caught up on that on YouTube and then off to bed. Yeah, so the fleet was sort of spread out. There were boats still fishing up in the middle of the ribbons where that green water is, and they were catching a few, but I think the fishing was a lot stronger down here. As you can see, there's a lot more of the fleet down here fishing the Linden Bank and out the front on the Opal Ridge, etc. Nice conditions, and pretty much Groundhog Day today. Head back out, do some bait fishing, have a swim, see if we can catch a big one in the afternoon. We're out bait fishing this morning. We're out behind Opal Reef. Going to go and have a swim over here, and then we'll head out marlin fishing again. The hell. That's so annoying. Yep, so we're out on the grounds here. Bait's out, you can see the birds. There's lots of activity, and you can see on the sounder here, I'd say that's schools of tuna there, and possibly some sharks or tuna around, or marlin around them. Some big shows there. Anyway, it was all zeros for us today. So back in behind the reef again. And who would have thought I'd have a bird in my cabin for the evening? So another day in paradise, but as always I start my day with a good engine room check. This gives you a bit of a look. I do the oils, check the header tank fluids, coolant levels. Also check the belts for wear. And then this was something that doesn't happen every day. What's the story?
Good job. So there's that little dummy outcrop there.
Yep.
Anchor's coming down, that lip there, and then out.
So we got to go around to the port in front of it.
So you've got to go right in front.
Yep.
Then that way a little bit.
Okay.
Very slowly.
Okay.
And I'll just stay where you can see me.
Okay. Well done, Whitey.
Diver and chef.
Yeah, so good we got that anchor off. So that happens very rarely, really. When you're anchoring up around the reef, you really got to find a sandy patch. That's sort of always your goal. You're never going to stick an anchor down into a bunch of coral on purpose. And then what happened there was, you know, sometimes you can swing around and the chain will actually just hook the corner of a coral rock. So yeah, it was just a big rock. So Andrew hopped in, as you saw, and told us which way to go to sort of get the chain off. And yeah, no problems. A bit harder when it's deep too, so we were lucky. Yeah, been a few times over the years we've had to use a scuba tank to get down there and untangle things. Anyway, back out bait fishing. And a few long-tailed tuna there. I can tell you they're not going in the morgue. We're going to eat them for sashimi, I'd say. Oh, a little queenie, wow.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been a good little bait session. We'll go and see if we can find some trout on the spear now. So that's pretty wild. Looking back at the mainland, you can see those avalanche tracks. That was from the big wet they had the year before. Anyway, the boys had a bit of a spear, and then poor old Blake had his spear caught up on this bommy. How'd you go?
I lost my tip.
Have you got more?
No. Yeah, and it got jammed at a rock.
Got jammed in the rock, and the trout's sitting next to the spear.
The trout's sitting next to the spear.
I'll have to look at that footage. Yeah. Did you see any trout?
Andrew said he saw one.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I saw a cod.
Alright, beautiful conditions. You can see us here coming up over the actual Linden Bank to the marlin fishing grounds. That's Corey on the Sheriff, great fisherman. And look at the shows we're seeing. So much activity out here. Woo! Yeah! Straight on. There he is! Missed. Get out of there. You okay? Holy shit, that was loose. Look at that spectacular jump right next to the boat. And then we pull the hook right under the rigger here. You hear it.
Well done, man.
You hear the whistle of the line there.
Well done. Yay.
That was a good one.
How good was that? That's pulling a rabbit out of a hat. This water's like green pea soup. Small fish again. Surely our big one's coming. A pig.
Oh, I wish I caught that on film. That fish looked 600-700 pounds out of a trailer boat.
We're on.
It was all happening today.
Well done, Whitey.
That's been a great lesson.
Right, fantastic.
Look at that activity on the sounder. So much going on. So exciting when it's like this. And look at that fish. I reckon that is a big marlin. Like a proper one. And then just over there, Corey's hooked up on the Sheriff. Apologies for the blurry vision, but I'm zoomed a long way in there. Anyway, that was it for us for the day. Line's in. And look, basically the way it works is you've got to get in behind the reef before you run out of light because of all the bommies. You're literally anchoring up in amongst all the coral bommies. So another beautiful day. When you see trailer boats out there, you know you've got good weather. So we're all pretty keen to get out there and have another crack.
Spanish? Right, well done, good release. Oh wow, let's do a turn around there.
Oh, yum.
Yep, just in time, another long-tailed tuna. So we can have sashimi again this evening.
Triple header.
Little Spaniard.
Okay, good tuna session. So yeah, lots of good baits for this afternoon. Off to have a quick swim now.
Yeah, it's what's so good about the Great Barrier Reef. You know, the marlin fishing's obviously why we're there, but it's all the swimming and even the bait fishing's great fun. And we normally are doing a fair bit of bottom fishing as well, but the reason we weren't was the finfish closure was on. So we're eating a lot of steak.
Alright, so marked one straight away. Baits are out, water's looking a lot better. It's still got a slight bit of green to it, but yeah, heaps bluer.
So much activity around, chop-offs become a little bit more common too. And there's Corey hooked up. So exciting getting in close trying to film it. But you got to keep out of their way, obviously. Those fish can turn at 90 degrees and be in all sorts of trouble. But by the same token, everyone's pretty happy to get some cool video of their boats and fish.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, so we got a shot right as we're about to pull the lines in and head in.
No.
Dropped him. And that little mothership and little game boat, Wild Turkey, they actually are based up in the Gulf, and at one stage owned our game boat after we sold it. So here we are, just Blake and I just getting some light tackle stuff ready. The boys wanted to do a bit of spinning over the top of the reefs.
Yeah. Good luck out there.
Yeah, so that's Miles. He's a private fisher. You know, a lot of the boats are charter boats up here, but there's a few of us private guys knocking around, and he's been doing it forever. Knew him back in the early days in Moreton Bay as well. I often say the Barrier Reef's a bit like the land and a forest. You know, there's some barren areas and then there's some lush tropical forest areas. Well, the reef's a bit like that, and this is one of those beautiful lush tropical areas. The coral there is so beautiful and pristine. Anyway, back out fishing, and we've hooked up pretty quickly.
Look at him. Yeah, I got some. You want to get in close on it, Whitey? You right? Righto, well done, boys.
So that's the boat Ultimate Lady, and she comes all the way from Tahiti to fish the season. And they were actually the winners of the Blue Marlin World Cup. Fantastic event. Fished all around the world on one day, 4th of July, and they won with a 689-pound Blue Marlin, I think they caught in Tahiti. Yeah, look it up, it's a great event. Dare I say it, Corey's hooked up again. Right here, so Blake's free spooling, giving the fish a chance to eat the bait, turn its head and swallow it. We use circle hooks these days, so they get hooked in the corner of the mouth, so there's no damage to them. Our main aim is to release our fish in good condition. And of course, to aid in that, we try to catch them as quickly as we can. And that's why it's a real team effort, marlin fishing, as you can see. You know, the boat driving is important. You've got to back up on it where you can. You manoeuvre the boat to try and make it a quicker fight. Then you got the wireman who's got a Blake there who's grabbing the leader. That's so we can get it quicker as well, and then cut it free.
Alright, well done. Yoo-hoo! Got the hook back to you. Good work, mate. Well done. That's great.
Well, we trolled for another half hour or so, but then it was time to head in. A great day.
Well, good morning. We're out bait fishing, as you've seen. I'm running along the edge of the green zone here, and we're just making our way back to Cairns this morning. We're going to fuel up, do a provision shop, and then have the night there, and then we'll make a decision on where we're going to go. We've got another couple of weeks here. We're probably going to head up to up into the middle again. Anyway, see how we go on the bait.
Yeah, all zeros on the bait fishing this morning, but we didn't stick to it long. Big day ahead of us.
This is VMR 409, Coast Guard Cairns standing by.
You get some amazing super yachts here now. Look at the guy walking past the mast on that yacht to put it in scale. It's a beautiful looking thing. Anyway, we fueled up and did a provision shop and had a nice night in town, and then we headed out. So there is a part 2 coming, and we do find a couple of extra good sized fish, so it's pretty exciting. If you follow my Instagram and Facebook, you'll know there's some good trips being had over the last 12 months, and all those videos will be edited and published, so make sure you subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. That all helps getting it out there. I know it's not for everyone, the marlin fishing, but still great to see all that area up there, and for the marlin fishermen watching this, yeah, there's some good stuff coming. Thanks again, guys. Cheers.